All right, got it.
We got it.
Well, that's doing
There.
something.
We're there. Yeah, when it says we got it, we are live.
All right, I think we're now, we're now live on Facebook, and now we're going to record here. So can you see the record button?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
welcome everybody. This is Tyhson Banighen, the energy detective, and Charlie, the Riverman, and this is shifting paradigms. We talk about dowsing, energy healing, transformation, change, not only on the personal level but on the planetary level. Today we're going to talk about personal and planetary transformation, the sea of disinformation that we seem to be in the midst of, change afoot everywhere. And also, we want to end with some optimism and some trust in each other that we've got this. So that's where we're going with the show today. Hopefully you'll join us. And if you want more information, there'll be information in the notes about how to reach us if you want to explore this any further. All past shows are recorded and are available in the wellnessacademy.ca. So there you are. So without further ado, Charlie, welcome to the show. And yeah, lots of transformation underway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, that's one of the words that popped up first was the transformation. And as we talk about being in the middle of this shifting paradigm, transformation is really a key article in order for that to happen. And the challenge for us as human beings is, can we emotionally and mentally accept and follow the transformational path that is in the highest level of energy?
Yeah.
So it's about our energy, really. And I think many of us are learning now from a lot of different realities, such as sunspots, energies that are being made to do certain things that are to hold us into the paradigm. And we're looking at all of that, and we're realizing that we're being in this middle of all of this energy. We now have to start to address it and look at it and realize what energy is positive for us individually and what is negative, but also what is collectively positive and negative. So it's no more all about me.
Right. Yeah, we could quickly make it all about me, but everybody's going through change and transformation. I can't think of anybody who isn't in the midst of it, even though they may have sunshiny faces and have a big smile. I think everybody feels that something is definitely afoot, that there's change and transformation happening around them. For some people, it's quite scary as they lose jobs in this whole thing. I mean, in Canada, Nordstrom, we went through the list today on the show, and it was just like one company after another shutting down. Many people that will be out of work and be looking for a new way to do some sort of side hustle or generate cash in a new way. So old paradigm that you can do a 9 to 5 and that all those jobs are available, that's shifting really quite rapidly. And not to say that there aren't jobs available, but certainly what was available may no longer be available. So we're all in the midst of this shift and transformation. And it can be a bit scary and overwhelming, no doubt about that. So we do want to say that from our experience, certainly when we talk about paradigm shifts, that there's two ways that this could go. And I think we focus on the one way from our experience with paradigms is when the system breaks down, if we're in the midst of the systems breaking down, political, social, economic, medical, all the systems are not working. And not only at a country level, but at a global level. That change of transformation can end up with this sheer chaos. That's one option. But the exciting thing about system transformation is what's called second order change. That is that the system can go through a reorganization where the sum is greater than equal of the individual parts. So it may look like chaos, but chaos precludes the reorganization into something totally new. And the beauty of that concept is that you have no idea what that new rearrangement will look like. And this is based not on fantasy, this is based on scientific evidence of how systems work. So the exciting thing is, hang on, it's a bit of a roller coaster, but I'm pretty darn sure we're not going into it. May look like we're going into chaos, but that shift will come out of this chaos will emerge a new paradigm that we've experienced. But that's the positive thing that I want people to leave with people, and I want to begin this discussion. So where do we see this paradigm? In chaos. Well, we see it everywhere, right? Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, there's chaos everywhere, and there always has been chaos everywhere. And this is part of the illusion that we've led in creating the civilization that we live in. It is a field of illusions, and people will argue with me, oh no, this is real, and yes, it is real, but we've created it from our minds, and so it's physically and energetically in place, but it's not part of what we might call the original blueprint. It's a blueprint that we've rewritten or reorganized and placed over it so that we see the truth through that field.
What do you, for you, is the original blueprint? Because I think you're absolutely bang on. What is the original blueprint?
Tyhson, for some reason, your voice is breaking up. It's hard for me to understand you.
All right, well, let's try again. So, can you hear me a little bit? Well,
a little bit better. Yeah, it's a little choppy. That's all. Yeah.
Whoops, that was a camera shifting. So
it's the paradigm shift going in action.
We're shifting as we speak here. All right, I'm back here. So let me just do the sound, see if we can get better sound here.
Yeah.
So is this any better?
Well, so far so good. Yeah. So
far so good. So yeah, so I can't even remember what the question was I was asking. Can you remember, Charlie?
You're asking the wrong person. I'm not here to remember. I'm here to be active in the present moment. That's remembering is what I'm letting go of. Which brings us to that.
I know what the question was. Okay, so what is the I'm going to use the word you didn't use this. Well, what's the divine blueprint? What's the correct blueprint? Or what's all about Alfie anyway? If we have created a paradigm where we have a scientific rational perspective, and we as godlike beings are manipulating nature to do what we think it should do, and we're running into chaos because nature is much bigger and stronger than any civilization or collective can ever imagine, that nature's saying, no. So what is the original divine or original blueprint? You can leave out divine if you want. What is the original blueprint from your perspective?
That's a question I ask all the time. And I don't receive any real answers. I look at it as a quantum structure, and I don't even know what a quantum structure is, but that's what I call it. And I look at it as millions and billions of energies and molecules coming together and co-creating waves and patterns and frequencies. And that's what we as humans understand them as. But they're actually, it's a connective field of energy. It's a wholeness. It's a sense of everything in its movement knows where to go, knows what to do, and does it automatically and willingly. And so there's this sense of wholeness.
Well, that sounds like at some level those parts of the Mandelbrot set or whatever the unfolding is, in a logical sequence. It sounds like it's almost, I'm going to say mechanical, but it isn't. I mean, we can think that it's mechanical, but really we're talking about something that has an evolutionary consciousness behind it. Like it's an evolving consciousness, not a mechanical unfolding. But what you're really saying, I think, is that it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And when we understand the system and how it works on the natural level, like nature, for example, and we are then attuned to that, where we're going to receive guidance and direction. So then whatever systems we create that are in harmony with the natural order of things will be easy to manage and effortlessly unfold, just like a flower does. A flower doesn't have to figure out, what its matrix is to flower and to create seeds. It just follows the matrix and it surrenders to the divine blueprint that's in the seed. We as humans don't know how to surrender the divine blueprint. We think that we're superior to whatever that blueprint is, and therefore we're going to make it whatever we want, and then we have the consequences of messing it up. And it's a learning, it's a learning cycle. I get that, but maybe it's time that we just woke up and realized that there's forces bigger than us, always has been and always will be.
This is the point we are at. And I like when you brought up the Mandelbrot theory, because I follow that. And so what this is a revolving. So we're in this process of reshaping the energy field that we exist in. And it needs to be done because it's fallen out of balance with the larger cycle of everything, the larger blueprint. And so we as humans have been fascinated by that and tried to bring that to a third dimensional level and try to be the what I would call the co-creators of all of that in the third dimension. And we can only go, it's limited. The third dimension is a limited dimension, and we have to respect that limitation. However, we can open to receive the higher dimensions moving in and out. So it's like the Mandelbrot, it's changing shape, it's changing color, it's changing everything. And that's what's happening right now. And we need to adapt to that, because the longer we try to hold on to what has been, the more, how do I say, resistance
Right.
we create to it. It's not going to surrender to our resistance.
It can't. It
It
can't.
can't. Yeah.
No, it can't. It's like we talked about in a previous show that, we're on this wave of transformation, and we have a choice to either, I like the Mandelbrot, which is when you zero in on the Mandelbrot, it looks like a good way to describe it is when a fern comes up in the spring, you'll see that it's curled. And if you go and zero into any part of that curve, you'll see it replicated over and over and over again. So what we're saying is that systems all the way up and systems all the way down, and all those systems are integrated as a whole, and they all unfold or all develop or evolve in a logical sequence according to this order. And when we're in harmony with that, we're like riding that wave of creation, riding that wave of becoming. But when we try and fight that, it's like this huge wave. We want to be riding the wave. You don't want to be under the wave. You don't want to fall off the surfboard and be in the curl of that wave, because it is a huge wave. So the point is, we have to be able to deal with turbulence and change and transformation in a very positive way, of not being overwhelmed by the wave that we're in the midst of, and being able to emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually ride that wave, knowing that transformation is going to happen, and that we need to relax into it. Easier said than done, because it looks like it's going to crash. We look like that we are in the midst of the wave that's going to crash, rather than riding on the top of the wave and letting the wave carry us forward. So hopefully that analogy works for some people, because it is scary. I'm not saying it isn't scary. If you're in the midst of the wave, it looks just like chaos. It looks like you're going to drown.
It reminds me of the talk we had, and I forget her name was with us, and she spoke about the single wave, this one wave, and how I've always thought of it as surfing. I'm waiting for the next wave, and when the energy of this wave, sort of diminishes, I'm looking to ride the next wave. And what the explanation went, there's one wave that we are now to ride on. There has always been, and it's been our illusion of we had to find the next wave and the next wave and the next wave in order to accomplish something. There's a singular wave that is flowing through all of the dimensions. And that's part of their connection electromagnetically, psychically, at all levels of our awareness. And for me, when I start looking for that next wave, I have to pause and say, I'm on the wave. I just don't know how to work on this wave yet. That opportunities and energies here on this wave that I need to learn more about.
Yeah, I like that, because really, what we're talking about is heart resonance. We're talking about being in the heart. The mind could be in the fear of, oh my God, the wave is going to, do us in. The heart says no. If I'm in sympathetic harmony, if I'm one with that wave, if I'm in the resonant frequency of that, so there's coherence, then I can ride the wave. That takes us out of fear. That puts us into tranquility, puts us into peace. It puts us into oneness, and we can be then comfortable in that wave. So that coherence between our heart and the heart of all that is, called the heart of creation, if you want, gives us that ability to relax into the moment. And so that's really what we're looking for. How can we still the mind and drop into our heart? And how can we ride this wave of transformation and be joyful about it? I mean, I don't know about you, but trying to find some joy, where I get a smile on my face, it's really important. The day can get so chaotically busy trying to make ends meet, right? Yeah. That the joy factor is really hard to find. I have to find it through cartoons or humor, or somebody has to crack a joke or whatever, right?
Well, I'll tell you what brought me joy yesterday. Was it yesterday? When did we have our other meeting? Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
I mentioned it during our book gathering.
Yeah, we're writing a book together, by the way. So yeah, about co-creating this book, right?
Yeah, and I was in awe about the red-winged blackbirds. I live in Maine, the northern east coast of the U.S., and the red-winged blackbirds fly south in the winter and they come back in the north, as many birds do. I never saw them when they first came back. I usually see one or two around, but I looked out and there was over 40 of them diving in on the bird feeders that I leave out, and I couldn't believe. I kept looking. They're all red-winged blackbirds. And it looks like most of them are males. And I said, wow, how many years have I lived and not witnessed this cycle that is so natural? They don't think about it. Nobody else thinks about it. It just is a part of the rhythm of planet Earth. And how better would I serve myself if I came into that rhythm, whatever it is, my cyclical rhythm with the earth, as the animals have always done. And
I love that. Thank you for that reminder, because my partner here, my co-conspirator, said, hey, she just saw a robin, which is really, really early, but here you are. This is a sign of spring. I missed the first robin. Why? Because I'm too connected to my one-eyed God, which is my computer. And I forget the natural nature cycles, right? Which we establish that rhythm of the wave that we're talking about. If I'm one in my heart and in nature, I'm one with the rhythm of co-creation and the evolutionary path of consciousness. And when I'm not, I'm in a world of my own mind, in my world of what I think I need to do in order to create, which is a falsehood. If I spend more time in my heart and in nature, then what it is that I need to create will be synchronistically, if that's a word, yes, it is synchronistically, presented to me. So each step will be self-evident and have less effort. That's the lesson I'm learning. And I can say I'm still learning it.
No, we all are. And our ancestors understood this. And that was part of their survival pattern. And they didn't think about it. It was just naturally in their survival mode. Mm-hmm. We, because we have these amazing brains and this ability to calculate and figure things out and think and create and all of that, we have come so far away from that. It's almost as if we've drifted away from the planet and our mind is somewhere out in outer space now. And it's yearning to come back to the center field. So this is, again, when we talk about heart resonance, we have spent so much time in this field of our head and thinking and creating and doing all those things, which has been amazing. And I mean, it's the wonders of the world. Yeah. However, it gets to a point where it starts to devour itself.
Yeah, it doesn't nourish the heart anymore. There's an ache in the heart that something's missing.
Right. So it becomes an extractor of our energy. We're unconscious of it because we're enamored with the busyness.
And the AI and the technology and
so now we have another field of energy coming in to replace our own
busyness.
And we're about to turn a population of humanity into trusting it. And this is where the crisis begins, is right here, where we have to come back into our hearts and into our resonance that is with the natural resonance of planet Earth and the stars and the universes and the multiverses. Because if we do not do that, I don't know what the end result will be, but I can see that what happens is things start to fall apart. The cohesiveness and the magnetism of everything starts to dissipate. And
absolutely, yeah, the binding force of creation that holds us together, right. The one that is being lost, right, mm-hmm. on the individual and collective basis, then that discordance, that disharmony, that shifting of the paradigm must happen, because the paradigm is a form of consciousness that's sustained, right? And when there's changes in that consciousness, which there is now, it will break apart. There's no way in which it can't, because it takes too much energy to maintain it in the status quo. The status quo can't be maintained anymore. It can't hold the perturbations, the changes of the new waves, and therefore it's going to collapse. So let it collapse, everybody. Let it collapse. Don't let your heart collapse, right? Go inward and be in peace with yourself. So I think that's the message we wanted to get across today. Charlie, I think we did it. Hopefully people can respond to that and understand what it is that we're getting at. You want to work with Charlie and myself, there'll be links in there how to get hold of us. And there's more. If you enjoyed the show today, there's more and more in depth on this topic. I think there's, wow, I don't know how many weeks, Charlie. There's almost, I don't know, months, right? an awful lot of shows that you have access to at a very reasonable rate in the
We don't
Wellness Academy if you like what we're saying. So until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And please, please try and stay in your heart.
Yeah, come back into your heart. Realize that this is home. This is home. And everything else will be better if we act from here first rather than from here.
Absolutely. So bye for now, everybody.